Hello and welcome to Filmi Ladies. We are Pethu and Beth, and we're so excited to be back once our Seven Deadly Sins little series is over. Today's episode is going to be a bit of a catch up episode. We are just going to talk about the stuff that we've been watching, whether it's TV, whether it's movies. I actually don't really know what Beth has watched. I mean, I know, but I don't know of those things. So I'm going to start off by asking Beth, do you want to talk about this amazing picture you have behind you? Kaun, Kaisey.
This is a movie that was on my to watch list. And so when we decided we were going to do this general catch up episode, I was like, oh, I've only seen one thing in the last couple weeks. How can that one Hindi thing? How can that be? Or Indian thing, I should say. So then I looked at my list. I'm like, oh, what do I feel like watching? And I saw that I had this movie on, and I had no notes next to it about why it was on my list, which I really need to start being better about. But it was on Enthusiasm with subtitles. And I was like, great, so I'll watch this. It is, as it turns out, a Mithun Chakraborty murder mystery set in Shimla. So I think it came to me when we were doing Hill Station Mysteries back with Jane John. Um,
Yeah.
and I just didn't make a note of that being what it is. So I've now watched this Hill Station Mystery. It is based on a James Headley Chase novel. Who, if you don't know him as a, kind of a thrillers author, and it's his books that you see being read in Johnny Gadar, for example.
Mm.
Um, and it's a really good murder mystery, I would say.
Okay.
Um, it's the beginning, like the first couple, I don't know, like 15-20 minutes, I was kind of like, oh, what is this? But then it picked up and I really enjoyed it. The print that I was able to get with subtitles is pretty terrible. I don't know if there's a better one out there, which is too bad because we're in Shimla and it's wintertime, so there's snow everywhere and it's really beautiful. This is probably the snowiest Indian film I've ever seen,
Oh,
maybe
wow.
apart from Gadar from the 70s, which I spoke of when we were talking about snowy films a while ago. But this is a very snowy film and it deserves to look better than this.
Did you have hot chocolate while watching it?
I didn't, but I should have. And this is barely over 2 hours. It moves along really well once it gets going. Like I definitely recommend this. The book it's based on is called Tiger by the Tail, I believe. I
Okay.
have not read, and I think there are other adaptations of it, but this was, I thought, really, really very enjoyable. It could probably use a little bit of a goose in the budget department, as things sometimes do, but like I really liked it. And someone on Twitter was saying, oh yeah, a bunch of the Mython has a bunch of early 80s mysteries. I was like, oh great, tell me all of them. I will watch all of them. So I have a couple more on my list now. So don't
Oh,
ask
I
me
had
what they
no
are because I don't
idea.
remember. Yeah, I didn't either. He's not the most convincing with the little mustache and the trench
Oh,
coat to be a detective. The
he's
little
a detective?
mustache,
Oh,
he's the
gosh. Okay.
detective. Yeah. Uh, that, it could have been anyone, but it was Mithun and I really enjoyed it. And as I was just we were just talking in another episode recently about, um, oh my God, about Anita Raj and how I haven't
Mm.
seen her yet. And she is in this. So I have now seen her,
Oh,
and her father is in it as well as, of course, a police officer, because that's what he always plays.
right. Parikshit Sahani, right? Like that's her dad?
No, his last name is Raj as well.
Oh, I don't
Oh
know
my
what that
God. Why
is.
do I forget names as soon as I come on this podcast? And why do I always say that? I think Jagdish Raj. He's
Okay.
he's for sure that guy from the 60s, 70s,
Mm.
80s. You've definitely seen him. Um, I don't think she and her father look alike at all, as far as I could tell, but I was glad to see her. I was like, oh, hello.
Did Mithun have any kind of dance number in this?
But of course, there is kind of a
Okay, good.
disco New Year's party in which someone is going to be crowned. I think they called it New Year Queen or Miss New Year or something. The woman who finds a pearl in her drink is the
Okay.
one named New Year Queen.
Oh, how lovely. Okay. And so he does some sort of like shimmy on the dance
He's
floor to
shimmying
bring
all
in the new
around. And
year.
if I understood things correctly, he was sort of shimmying undercover to do reconnaissance,
Oh, of course.
as you do.
Yes.
It's not his best disco dancing or dancing of any kind, in my opinion, even if you like Mithun dancing, which I do. But I was just happy to see it. And it's a Kishore Kumar song, so it's good fun. So
Is the director or the producer like anyone we know? Like this does not
Yes,
seem like some very
the director is Anil Ganguly, who you've definitely seen do a bunch of other things. I had to pull up his list and I was like, oh, who's that? And then I was like, oh, it's everything. Devin Verma is in this film. So like a bunch of people that we've sort of mentioned in passing have appeared. Um, this director did Khandan from the 70s, Trishna, which is a Shashi Kapoor film, Kora Kagaz, um, Mera Yar, Mera Dushman. So various films that I've sort of heard of, but mostly haven't seen. Of
yeah.
course, which there are many. And if I've not named his big film and I'm just ignorant of what his big film is, I apologize. But yeah, kind of late 60s into the early into the 90s director. So
I'd
been
say
around.
Korakas definitely is one of his more famous ones then. And
Yeah.
that's the one that I've seen.
And this cast is a definite, there's a lot of people in here you will recognize. And someone who, if IMDb is to be believed, only did this one film, and she was a controversial admission to the Film and Television Institute and was a apparently like was involved with a politician who got her admitted and she had no actual skills.
Oh,
And her name she goes by Candy. She goes by some other names as well.
okay.
But when you see a Candy in the credits, you're like, who's that?
Right.
So yeah, and so I had fun Googling her. That was really interesting. Um, but yeah, I would recommend this film, especially if you like mysteries. I did actually make the correct guess as to who the killer was, which is not my
Good for you.
usual
I'm
way.
impressed.
But I did manage this one, but that did not detract from my enjoyment in any way because I wasn't sure I was right. I just thought, I bet it's this person. And I
Right.
happened to be right for once.
Very cool. I've never read anything by James Hadley Chase, but
Nor have
they
I.
were fixtures at the airport when I was growing up. Like Lagos
Ah,
airport had like this teeny tiny little bookshop, and it was basically like 90% of it was like James Hadley Chase.
oh
And they always
my.
had the raciest covers. And I would always like browse them, and my mom would like disapprove of me browsing them. It was always extremely scantily clad ladies and whatnot.
This one, that one of the versions of this cover has that too. If you have seen the film 88 on Top Hill from Hindi 2003, that's this
I have
same
not.
story adapted.
Okay.
So it has appeared, I don't know if it's appeared in any other Indian cinemas, but it has appeared in Hindi now twice, which is no surprise given how often Chase, comes up in at least as a visual clue in Indian cinema. So
Nice. Okay. I watched, among other things, what I thought was like the best movie to have come out of 2023, which was
you have
12th
been
Fail.
so excited about talking about 12th Fail, so I'm
I am
glad we're
so
going to talk about
excited.
it.
I was very sad that they weren't playing 12th Fail anywhere near me. They were playing it like 45 minutes away, but I'm not going to go
Mm,
45 minutes away to watch a Vidhu Vinod Chopra film, you know. But I finally saw it on Einthusen, and it was so endearing, so heartwarming. I've always liked Vikrant Masi, and he was so darling. And I was thinking to myself, like, very few people could have pulled off the performance that he did.
mm,
I think a very young Ranbir Kapoor would have, like, I'm saying like Savaria days, Ranbir Kapoor could have. But that's about it, because I think Vikrant Masi just has this very naive, very sweet face. He just has this smile, just like lights up the screen. Every time he would smile, I'd just be like a puddle
mm.
of mush. He is so darling in this movie. I did hear some criticism of it where someone said that it felt like, a friend of mine said that it felt like a motivational poster come to life. Um but I don't necessarily agree with that. I think that there definitely is like a genre of Hindi films where it's about like a small time rural person who wants to make it to the big leagues, and they struggle, and there is that like genre of film where they do that, where it's very motivational poster-esque. And it can sometimes come across as very flat and, just very like
Yeah.
basic,
Simplistic. Yeah.
very simplistic.
Yeah.
But I did not feel that way about 12th Fail. I thought it was extremely well written, well done. And I was super shocked to discover it's actually based on a real person. It's based on a real like
Oh.
IAS officer. And it was just so well done. I found it funny, which also shocked me because one of the reasons I stay away from films that have this sort of like struggle storyline is sometimes they're so serious. They're so heavy about it. And it's all about like how you studied under the street lamps and, stuff like that. But this one had like a good amount of humor in it. There's a lot of like bromance in it, which is really sweet. I love seeing like two men being really good friends and supporting each other. The actress in it, Medha Shankar, was really good as well. It's just a very sweet, endearing, heartwarming film, and probably the most like wholesome movie that I've seen in all
Mm.
of 2023. So I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend watching it. With Vinod Chopra is not someone whose movies I particularly seek out. I think
Mm.
his best movie that like I love is probably Parinda. But for some
Mm.
reason, Vidhu Vinod Chopra and Rajkumar Hirani are just they just don't do it for me. But 12th Fail was just amazing. So I highly recommend watching it. I think it's very sweet, and it passed my cell phone test. So
Nice.
I watched it on the laptop, and at no point did I look down. At no point did I start scrolling Instagram. So I highly recommend it for multiple reasons. Um, the only thing that I felt like I was not going to like about it was I wondered if they had basically given Vikrant Massey like brown face, but then I later
Uh,
discovered that they had not. I mean, first of all, he's not the fairest actor out there anyway, and apparently he intentionally tanned quite a bit on location in the Chambal Valley. Like he literally would sit out there in the sun to get the skin tone and
mm.
for his lips to be chapped and everything. And
Mm.
I believe that because it didn't look annoyingly fake and, like
Yeah.
insulting in a way. Probably the worst example I've seen of brown face in recent times is when they artificially darkened Bhumi Pednekar in what is that movie I saw? Was it Bala? I think it was Bala with
Mm.
Ushman Khurana. But no, so that was like the one thing that I thought I was going to like nitpick, but I can wholeheartedly recommend 12th Fail, favorite film of 2023.
Wow.
I also rewatched Donkey on my plane back from India. It's so
Ah,
cute. I still love Donkey. I still
good.
love Shah Rukh's big courtroom scene. I think that was my favorite of the three Shah Rukh releases we got in
Mm.
2023, and it was definitely a must watch. I know you and I have spoken in the past about like plane movies, and
Yes.
this time I watched because I had a 17-hour flight from Mumbai back to San Francisco. 17 hours, Beth. What am I going to do with myself? By
That's a
hour
lot
4,
of
I want to kill
hours.
myself. That is a lot of hours.
Mm.
Um, I actually watched Pushpa, which is from 2021. It's the Allu Arjun movie, which has Rashmika Mandana in it as well. He's like a sandalwood smuggler person. Have you seen it?
No.
It's I was like, this does not seem my cup of tea. I'm not one for Telugu cinema. However, I've seen one Allu Arjun movie a while ago, Ala Vaikunta Puramalu, and I thought he was so amazing in it that I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'm in a plane. I have nothing to do. I have nowhere to go. My cell phone doesn't work. So I'm just gonna like watch 15 minutes and see if I like it. And shockingly, I enjoyed it. So I don't know what happened to me. Maybe it's the plane effect. But Allu Arjun, man, that guy has star power. He comes on the screen and you can't look away. I understand why he is the giant star that he
Mm.
is. And I loved the way he was styled in this movie. They literally it was so refreshing to watch a movie where there was clearly no designer hand, like designer hand as in, it's so irritating when you see these Hindi films where someone is from the village and they wear these outfits that clearly
Oh,
have been provided by Manish Malhotra, and you're like,
right.
pretty sure people who live in the village, they're getting money, like getting water from the well, don't have blow dried hair, but nice dry director. um so I really loved the way he was dressed. I loved his acting. I loved his dialogue delivery. The movie itself, I have quite a few qualms with. I don't understand this trend of taking people who are clearly like criminals and kind of valorizing them. It was also strange because there's all these beautiful shots of the sandalwood for well, they're not technically
Oh.
sandalwood forests, but they're these forests where the sandalwood trees grow. And they're so beautiful and idyllic. It's like these long shots and there's the mist and it's so pretty. And then you see Allu Arjun and his crew axing these trees down. And I was like, wait, you want me to like clap for this person? That's ridiculous. So it was just so strange to me that I was expected to like applaud a person who is doing all this environmental damage.
This is also making me think, if you are on a plane and you are watching particularly a Telugu film and the hero
Yes.
enters, are you supposed to like clap and whistle and stuff, even though you're by yourself on a plane and probably no one else has started the movie at exactly the same time as you?
I suppose so, but I can't be bothered. It's not Shah Rukh. If it was Shah Rukh, I would still clap in a plane, even if everyone glared at me. Also, everyone was asleep at that point because this was my third film that I saw.
Oof.
I was running out of films to watch, Beth. So at that
Oh,
point, I was like, okay, I'll watch Pushpa.
yeah, I have definitely tried things on planes that I wouldn't have otherwise, and sometimes enjoyed them very much. Sometimes sort of thought time passed, sometimes thought, oh, actually I'm going to turn that off before I even finish it.
Yeah.
So like Flying Jot, for example, not
Oh,
even on
I've
a
never seen
plane,
that.
not even on a
Flying Jaw,
plane.
does it have Tiger in it?
Tiger,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
sorry,
would not.
Melanie.
No, but like, okay, Pushpa, I had some qualms about it, but I was like, okay, it's fine. Also, shockingly, I was looking forward to Samantha Prabhu's song Uantava because I've seen the video and she's so
Mm,
stunning. And they cut it. It wasn't in the movie. And I kept watching it until the end for the credits because I was like, maybe it's like one of those songs that they sneak in at the end. It wasn't
yeah.
there either. So I was like, Air India, where is Uantava?
Why do you think they cut it?
I don't know. Like, did I just miss it? Did I just
Is
fall
it
asleep?
is it too titillating or something?
I don't think that's the reason because the second movie I watched was actually Dirty Dancing, which is one of my all-time favorites. Teenage me loves that movie. Patrick Swayze, yes, nobody
Sure.
puts baby in a corner. And hilariously, the woman next to me was this like old grandma, like it was this grandparent couple. And she knew how to use the TV screen in front of her seat. She just chose not to. Like, I know because she scrolled through it. And she watched Dirty Dancing the entire time with me, which was very awkward. So she like
Good
kept
for her.
looking and you could tell she was being like scandalized, but also she couldn't look away, which I was like, I get it. It's Patrick Swayze. He's shirtless. How can you look away, grandma? But so I know that it was in the titillation factor because Dirty Dancing is a way more racy than Uantawa will ever be. But I don't know, like it was cut. And so, I mean, they had that Sami Sami song, which is like some of the worst choreography I've seen in the longest time. It is so irritating. But yeah, anyway, I like Pushpa. Did I like it because I was in a plane and I had nothing better to do? And grandma auntie kept looking at my screen. I don't know. But it was fine. But I will say, Allurjan, I get it. I completely get the hype. And I would like to see more of his stuff
Mm,
as long as it's not this masala. Like if he's done any like non-masala things that are more my flavor, then
mm,
I would love to explore because the man can act. He
mm.
is he's fabulous. Um so there was Pushpa and then the first movie I saw, so in order I saw Kedarnath, Dirty Dancing, and then Pushpa.
Tell me about Kedarnath, because that's a film I have thought I should watch at some point because I like Sushant Singh Rajput so much, but then everything I've read about it has made me feel like, eh.
So again, didn't have a lot of movie options. Decided to give it a shot precisely because of Sushant. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And also, if nothing, the visuals will be pretty just based on
Yes.
the trailer scene. So I was like, okay,
Yes.
I'll watch it. The first 10 minutes were so boring that I was very much willing to switch it off.
Oh
But then I was
dear.
like, no, we don't have a lot of options. This is a 17-hour flight. Let's stick with it. Half an hour longer.
Oh
Let's
boy.
try. But after those 10 minutes, I really got into it. And I have to say, I was so sad because Sushant Singh Rajput, man, what a loss. He is so lovely in this film. He's
He's
so
so good.
darling. He just
Yeah.
lights up the screen. Also, shockingly, I liked Sara Ali Khan in this. I have never liked that woman in anything she's ever done. Um, I think the worst Sara Ali Khan performance I have seen would probably be Love Ajkal 2. She was so bad in that. Um, and she was also horrific in Atrangi Re. I only watched it for Dhanush, and he was great, but Sarah was bad. But I actually liked her in Kedarnath. She was playing this sort of like spunky, sprightly, rebellious, I do what I want kind of girl. And sometimes those characters can be extremely irritating, but I think she was fine. I think she was very cute and pretty and bubbly, and she was just right enough. Hilariously, the person sitting diagonally to my right, and so I could see his screen, was actually watching Kashmir Ki Kali. So I was like, wow, every time I would look at Sara Ali Khan in a song or whatever, and I'd be like, okay, she's not too bad. And then I would see Sharmila Tagore and Shabi Kapoor in Isharo Isharo Mein Dil Lene Wali, and I'd be like, oh, Sharmila. And then I'd be like,
No.
oh, Sara. So like that direct comparison was very difficult. Um, the movie is very pretty. It's well done. I think it has some really good performances. You will love the houses in Kedarnath. So the house that
Oh.
Sara Ali Khan lives in, gorgeous. It had the most beautiful like mint green walls and like traditional like Indian like furniture, like dark wood furniture. And I loved it. And I made a mental note. I was like, Beth will like this house. Um, but it's just very pretty, and it was apparently shot on location, which I believe because it's
Mhm.
pretty. And it had like a strong I mean, it had a strong like pro environmental message, which I liked because
Mhm.
they do talk about the like over tourism and stuff like that, which is also why I had so much cognitive dissonance, because then I watched Pushpa and he's just like hacking down these forests, and I was like,
Right.
what are you doing, Pushpa? So I would say give Kedarnath a shot. I think,
Okay.
like me, you may find the first 10 minutes annoying, but once it gets going, it gets going. And Sushant Singh Rajput is just
Mm.
top notch. And I'm just very, very sad about the fact that
Yeah.
he's no more with us, but he was lovely. Sara
Mm.
Ali Khan's outfits also in this movie are very cute. She's basically just worn salwar kameezes throughout the film, but they're so
Yeah.
pretty. And she looked really good in it. Not as good as her grandma, that I saw in Kashmir Ki Kali,
Sure.
it's Sharmila, but she was good. It was also funny because like every time I would see Sushant Singh dance, and he was such a good dancer.
Was.
Like there's that song, Wahi To Meri Sweetheart Hai, which is like the main like
Mm.
happy song in the movie, and he's dancing so well. And then I look across and there's Shami Kapoor doing this. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good dancer too.
Different, but good. Mm.
Very different, does not adhere to any laws of physics, for
Nope.
instance, but very good at the same time. So that was, yeah, I was like, Shabi Kapoor is over there just with his hankies and he's going Mirija balle balle, and I'm like, okay, I dig it. So that was really good. And then what else did you watch?
So I have revisited a film that I had kind of forgotten about, and that is turning 20 this year, which is how I arrived at it. I was kind of looking around for something to write about for my friend's website, The Cultural Gutter, where I have indeed posted an article about this piece if you wish to read about this film. And this is a film that I remember a bunch of us bloggers back in the day making a lot of fun of, but I don't really remember what any of us had to say about it. And the film is Naach by Ram Gopal Varma.
Oh God.
Now, exactly. We
Yeah.
have talked about the stank of RGV on this podcast. When I was looking up his filmography, the man is prolific, if nothing else, right? And I think it had, because he's kind of fallen off the radar, I think, for a lot of us anyway, particularly if we mostly watch Hindi films. Um, he works, but I take that back. He's working a lot in Hindi and Tamil, right? But I just have not paid any attention to him really since RGV Ki Aag or whatever it was called, the horrible Sholay remake that I feel
Yeah.
like I did try to watch that at some point. I can't remember. Um, but and of course there's, as someone who's not particularly into, I like gangster films, but they're not always my first choice. I only just watched Satya for the first time in the last year after dear friend Uday Bhatia's book about it came out, which everyone should read. It's really, really good. But I know I need to go back and see some more of RGV's films. Um, and Rangila, obviously for the ages, wonderful.
Mhm.
I really like Main Madhuri Dixit Banna Chahti
Oh
Hoon, for
yeah, that is
example.
so
I think that's a really
cute.
cute film. And then when you add Naach to that, there's this trio of films about women in, kind of striving in the film industry that I think are really interesting, especially so in Rangila, I feel like the woman's arc is maybe a little more typical to movies about movies, but the other two I feel like are a little bit different, and not particularly because the main woman is a choreographer, not an actor.
Oh,
Right. So she is a creator as
I
well
haven't
as a
seen that,
performer.
just FYI.
Oh, okay. So back in
Yeah.
the day, we all made fun of it because of her crazy outfits.
Mm,
And maybe that's fair enough. But there was a lot more going on in this film. And in my essay, I sort of argue for why I think people should give it another shot or revisit it or whatever. And I happened to pull up Bardwaj Rangan's review of it, and he too had a lot of good things to say about it, so that made me feel a little
okay.
bit better in my opinion. But I just think it's really good, and we were speaking in some other episode about films about women artists, but particularly women creators are even more unusual, right? So
Yeah.
in that regard alone, I think this film is worth a watch, but I actually think it's really well done. She is uncompromising in her attempts to join the film industry, and she walks away from multiple opportunities because she knows the people don't understand what she wants to do. Her dance style, as someone who does not know anything about dance, I'm going to describe it, as many others have, as being sort of like, there's a lot of sort of yoga pose type things in it. It's very unusual looking compared to what you normally see in Hindi films. And they make that point in the film because the other main character is Abhishek Bachchan playing a struggling actor who gets cast in a mainstream film. And you see him on his set doing very cookie cutter
Uh,
2004 hero dance moves, like wearing black leather or pleather,
mhm.
you know, with a fan on him and everything. And then you
Right.
see her doing these much more unusual things. And some of what you see her do is in her imagination. It's like her creative process happening. Again,
Hmm.
really interesting. The film opens with her
Yeah.
dancing in the Mumbai streets in the rain as like pedestrians are getting out, you know, ducking for cover, and there's taxis whizzing by, or like little kids are out playing soccer and whatever else. It's you know, again, I don't know enough about dance to rate her Antara Mali as a dancer, but I thought she was really good in this. And she's
Okay.
certainly doing a lot of complicated looking things with her body. Like, again, is it dance? I don't know. Seems to me it could be dance. But so especially if you like movies about movies, I think this is a really interesting one. And that you have this contrast for the actor who is willing to compromise and
Mm.
do, you know,
Whatever it takes.
yeah. And at least according to the subtitles, his main ambition seems to be famous and to have a lot of money. He doesn't actually talk much about being an actor. So it made me think, like, if there had been
So he's
influence,
Akshay Kumar.
kind kind of, it's like if there had been influencers in 2004, that's what he would have done, right, as
Right.
opposed to being an actor, whereas she is a creative artist and has
Mm.
vision, and she wants to get into cinema because that is the platform or the medium that will enable her vision to come to life. She needs
Right.
the scope of cinema to create what she wants to create. And I love this, like, woman sticking to her guns and, you know, not compromising and walking away from opportunities,
Hmm.
and their relationship, you know, hits some problems when she feels he does not understand her. He as his star is rising, he's trying to help her and like get her opportunities. She's like, I don't want that, I want to do it myself. And the fact that you refuse to listen to me or to understand me when I say this means that you don't understand me. And she, again, she walks, and like, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. It's really striking. The music is um good. I would say it's not my very most favorite. But I like it, and I think that the sequences, especially that she has imagined or created, are like weird and cool and
Mm.
very interesting. It does have the RGV leering camera, and that is true. And it is true that, you know, if her vision, if her creative vision involves sensuality, then why can't she do that? Like, why shouldn't she get to create that? So it's like,
Right.
you know, and is that kind of the exploitationer's trick of like, you got to show the thing in order to criticize the thing? Like,
Yeah.
maybe, but actually no one's criticizing her either. Like, she, you know, maybe we in the audience are, but the this artist is not critiqued particularly. And then, you know, when she finally does get an opportunity from someone who understands her well, like, she's well respected. We get to see her teaching other people. It's very, and her creative vision comes to exist, which is very satisfying. So I recommend it quite fully, knowing that a lot of people are going to be like, are you serious? But no, I am serious. Like, I think this is a really good movie and deserves some more consideration. And it does make me even more curious to go back into RGV's filmography, particularly in the 90s, right? And
Yeah.
watch some of those things. I know that we will eventually get to Urmila and our
Mhm.
Superstar series, and obviously rewatching Rangila is probably something I will do in addition to choosing something I haven't already seen. But
Yeah.
and I've only seen Antaramali, I think, in this and the Madhuri Dixit film.
Mhm.
But I like her very much in both these films and her career. She did one film after this that she actually directed, um, produced by RGV, and then she took some years
Just
off and then did one more film, and she's been gone ever since. So
mhm.
you have to wonder, when a woman leaves, a successful or at least semi-successful film career, what's going on there? And I made the mistake of going to RGV's Twitter and looking at it, and I was like, what is he doing now? And I sent it to Amrita, and I was like, what is this? She's like, oh, you know.
Is
So
he still,
he's,
like, tweeting and stuff?
yeah,
Oh god.
yeah, and he's with a very young woman much younger than he is in most of the pictures. I don't know if she's his latest,
Right.
star, or that's a
This
relationship of other kinds.
news.
But yeah, I have no idea, and I chose not to investigate that. Um, yeah, RGV, an interesting figure, kind of like what do we do with this guy and his films now?
It's so weird because some of his movies are some of my favorite Hindi films that have like, I
Sure.
love Satya so much. I love that.
Mm,
Pushpa in it. I love Mumbai Ka King Kaun, Piku Matre. I love Urmila in it. The music is amazing. I love that song that is shot on Urmila, Gila Gila Pani, where it's raining. And
yeah.
it's just so stunning. Like just the sound of the raindrops. It's one of the most beautifully like shot songs that I've seen. And then I love Kaun. I love Rangila, obviously. He's just done like so many amazing films. Have you seen Kaun?
No, but I pulled it up the other day, and I think that it's gonna be too violent for
It's also horror, so
me.
I think it
Yeah.
would be scary for you, but it's
Because
really well done. Like,
I
it's
was
one of my
asking
favorite
I was
horror.
asking Twitter for Armilla recommendations, and that one came
Mm,
up a lot, but I don't think I
yeah,
will be able to handle this. Also, I have to
yeah,
correct myself. He works mainly in Telugu and Hindi, not Tamil and
yeah.
Hindi. I don't know why I said Tamil. Sorry about that. Telugu. Um, yeah, but he's got a lot of movies that I feel like I probably should give a try at some point.
He's so extreme. It's like he'll either make something really phenomenal that becomes like a cult classic, like Satya and Rangila, and then Khan is kind of like a cult
Yeah,
classic for
I
those
think
of
it
us who
would.
like
Yeah, yeah,
horror, just not as
yeah.
mainstream. I even like his movies that were absolute duds. Like I love Dodd. I've always loved
Right.
Dodd.
Dodd was so much fun. You recommended that to me, and
It
I
was so
loved
much
it.
fun,
Yeah,
and Dodd is one of those
yeah.
movies that if whenever I tell people I love Dodd and I love the music of Dodd, I love everything about Dodd, people look at me like, "Okay, now we know not to take it seriously because only a stupid person would say that,"
It
but
was
it's
so
so much
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's done these movies which are, like, awesome, and then you'll go and see I've never seen RGB Ki Aag, but I've seen, like, the trailer and stuff. You'll see stuff like that and you're like, "What happened to you?" It's so he's kind of like a male Kangna Ranaut to me.
I mean, he's also just got he's made a million things, and not
Yeah.
just, not just producing, but also directing, and obviously his studio,
Mhm.
there's ton of amazing people that have come out of that as well.
Have
So
you ever seen Must, which also has Urmila in it?
no, that's what I plan to watch for our Urmila
It's
episode.
it's one of those it's kind of in that category as Dodd where, like, I love it, but I feel like when I tell people I love it, people are either like, "What? Which is this movie?" Or they don't particularly care for it, but it's so witty. It has Urmila and it has Aftab Shavdasani in it. It's really
Mhm.
cute, and it's very clearly based on like, Urmila's character is very clearly based on Sridevi, the actor,
Sure.
like her life, like the controlling family and the golden goose aspect of it.
Mm,
And there's a funny scene in it where Urmila is shooting for a movie and this journalist person is just like interviewing her and they're like, what movie are you doing? And for every single thing she has to say, she looks for approval before she can say it, like
oh.
that same like halting thing that Devi would do. And they ask her what movie she's shooting for, and it's so funny, it's so iconic. She goes, um हम आपके दिल में रह के आपसे प्यार करने लगे. It's so ridiculous, one of those crazy titles that they would have in the 2000s.
Nice.
Um, but Mast is one of those films that while it's not a film that I would revisit over, it's not a Rangila, it's
Yeah.
actually really fun. So he's even made these films like Main Madhuri Dixit Aana Chahti Hoon or Mast that even when they're not like your favorite,
Yeah.
they're still really good. So yeah, I don't know what happened to him. But Nach, I never saw. I do remember the discourse about it when it came out, but
Mhm.
primarily I think people I knew were making fun of the dance because it was
Yep.
just very like
It's
kooky.
very unusual. Yeah.
Yeah. And
For
then people
film
were,
anyway. Yeah.
yeah. And I think what disappointed a lot of people was that for whatever reason, people associate RGV with good music. It's kind of like how, Yash Chopra film is going to have good music. You
Mm.
associate him with having good music. And then Nach did not really have a soundtrack that caught anyone's imagination, which if you're making a movie called Nach and it's set in the film industry,
Yeah.
it should have a good soundtrack. Like
Yeah.
even God has an amazing soundtrack by A.R. Rahman.
Yeah, I do think better songs would have improved this film, but I also don't have any issue with them. Like, but I also don't have the
Right.
expectations of him that other people at the time would have had, right? I
Right.
realize that, but I've had a couple of the songs caught in my head since I rewatched it
Mhm.
like a week ago. So, you know,
Yeah.
can I tell you about his most recent Hindi project? I'm
Oh
looking at this
God.
on Wikipedia. It's called
Sure.
Ludki: Dragon Girl in English, the second part. Inspired by the cult classic Enter the Dragon, the film follows an Indian woman's journey to learn kung fu after witnessing her elder sister being sexually assaulted and murdered. So again, classic exploitation or baloney.
Yeah.
So like, man, can you think of another reason she might want to learn kung fu?
Right. Wow. Who's in it? And is this movie made or is under
This
production?
movie was made, it came out in 22, starring Pooja Palekar, Mia Mookie, Rajpal Yadav, who is
Okay.
obviously a stalwart, and Abhimanyu Singh.
I don't know these people.
So yeah, it says it's an Indo-Chinese production. The our heroine is in her film debut, apparently.
Okay.
Simultaneously dubbed and released in Chinese, Telugu, Tamil, Kannada, and Malayalam.
Hmm. Okay.
If someone tells me I should watch it, I would try it, but I'm not going to just try it. But
You probably
I
wouldn't.
would be interested in what people feel are the quintessential RGV films other than or like the must watches other than Satya and Rangila, which I have seen. So other ones, please.
Yeah. I think you should
And Dot.
maybe give Con a
I will try Con. I will
try,
definitely watch Con.
but it is scary. So at
Oh,
some
oh, sorry.
point,
No, I won't. I won't definitely watch Con.
oh,
Well, I fast forwarded and I saw a particular thing. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is not for
yeah,
me.
it is scary. I mean, there's no two ways about it. It's
Yeah,
definitely a
I
scary
that's not for
movie.
me.
She's
That's
so
not for
good in
me.
it though.
I believe
But
it.
okay, I watched another movie and then I was WhatsApping Amrita constantly and she was so sick of me. And I sent you screenshots. She was being very judgy. So the movie I watched is Dono. I was waiting for it to come on 9,000 and it did. And the reason I wanted to watch it so desperately is because it has Sunny Deol's son debuting in it. His name is Rajveer Deol.
Oh, that's that one.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Were you in the group chat where I kept spamming Amrita with photos of
For a
his?
little bit, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I
So,
think you
I think he's extremely handsome, okay? And then Amrita was very rude about it. She was like, he looks like an uncle. And then she's like, Pitu, ew. And then she said all sorts of mean, then she called me a cougar or whatnot. But you know what? It's cute. It's a one-time watch. I may watch it again because he's extremely good looking. And Paloma Talon, who is Poonam Talon's daughter, was also very charming and pretty. And this movie is like a nepo trifecta because it has Sunny Deol's son, it has Poonam Talon's daughter in the leads, and the director is a Barjatia. I think he is Suraj Barjatia's son.
Oh, oh,
Yes.
oh,
So which is a nepo trifecta. And true to its Barjatia lineage, this movie has like three-fourths of the movie is all about a wedding. Um, Therefore, it is pretty and the outfits are very nice. The story is wafer thin. The dialogues make no sense. But you know what? It's pretty, and sometimes you just want to watch something pretty, and I'm not going to apologize for that. And sometimes you just want to take like screenshots of a handsome actor and send them to your friend who then disses you and calls you a cougar. It happens. But I stand by my decision to watch Dono, and I would suggest if you're in the mood for a rom com that's just very bubbly and lightheaded and airheaded, and there's not much expression on
I
anyone's
have
faces.
I have an
Watch it.
assignment for you.
Oh no, what?
Young Rajveer Deol has no Wikipedia entry. So I feel
I
like
could
you
make
should
one.
take, Mhm.
I should make one.
You should make one.
I should make one. And then Amrita should edit it. No, she shouldn't.
And Paloma Dillon also has no Wikipedia
I
entry.
can make that too. She is so pretty. She looks
So
so much like her mother in so many scenes, and it has such a great song in it. Actually, it has really good songs. So the music is by Shankar Ehsaan Loy, and there's Ag Lagdi, which is a really good song, and there's Kamagani, which is so good, and Shreya Ghoshal sings. Oh, more nepo-ness. Two of the songs are sung by Shankar Mahadevan's sons. But to
it
be
just
fair,
never stops.
it just never stops. But to be fair, they are extremely talented and they sound wonderful. So I
Okay.
listened to Ag Lagdi and I was like, wait, is that Shankar Mahadevan's voice? Because it sounded so much like him. It's not. It's his son who sounds
Mm.
identical to him. And then there was the other song that I listened that also had the last name Mahadevan. And I was like, wait, but this is not that guy. Because Shankar Mahadevan has another son. So both his sons. So it's a Nepo into five.
It's Nepo Babies noggin.
It
It's
is
Nepo
Nepo Baby
Babies
Noggin.
something
But
else.
it was fun and I liked it.
Yeah.
It's very fluffy and floofy and cute, and Rajveer Deol is very handsome. So I recommend watching Dono. You think you'll watch Dono?
No.
Oh, but you'll watch the terrible Ram Gopal Verma movie, Beth.
Yeah, I would watch his version of Enter the Dragon before I would watch Dono, I think.
Why?
Uh Dono doesn't sound like there's much there.
There's not
You know
much
what I'm just
there.
saying? So I
No.
suspect that there's stuff actually happening in Ludkey Dragon Girl. However, however, if I were on a plane and this was one of
Mm.
the options and none of the other options grabbed me, I would remember, oh, Pichu said this was worth watching at least once. I'd watch it on a plane. Now, we should also bear in mind, I have no travel upcoming. I have no tickets booked. I have no plans to go anywhere. I mean, I will go somewhere at some point, but like nothing planned at the moment. So this might be an empty promise.
You should come and visit me in California, and then we should have a girls' night where we watch Dono.
That's the setting I need, right? Like
Yes.
that I
We'll have
would
like a
do for
pajama
sure.
party and we can have
For
martinis and we can
sure.
watch Dono and then you can agree with me that Rajveer is very handsome.
Can we make drinks or cupcakes or something inspired by her outfits? Because I'm looking at the poster and it's like a
Yes.
beautiful fuchsia lenga that looks with
Her
gold and stuff
outfits are
on it.
so gorgeous.
Yeah.
She wears this, her outfits are beautiful. So she wears one outfit that is like peacock blue. It's a lehenga. Oh, it's gorgeous. And then she wears another one, which is like white, like pearlescent white with like sequins on it. And she's on the dance floor wearing it. Her entire wardrobe in this movie is amazing. And then the girl who plays the bride, her outfits are really beautiful as well. So there's a lot of like prettiness. There's a lot of eye candy in this movie. It's a good pajama party movie. So we should do that.
I would do that. I would do that. Yeah, I mean, having company makes all the difference for certain things.
Yes, exactly.
I would also like
Um,
live chat it, like live tweet it or whatever if someone ever
yeah,
wanted to do that. That's that kind of thing. I'm
we
definitely
should
into that.
spam Amrita's WhatsApp with it.
I mean, we're trying to get her onto an episode soon, so maybe after that.
You can antagonize her afterwards. Until
Yes.
then, I'll be a good girl. Do you have anything else on your watch list? Any newer things that you want to see?
I mean, now that Donkey is on Netflix, I will certainly watch it. I had thought about it last weekend, but I had a very emotionally draining weekend and did not
Mm.
feel I was at my best to appreciate Donkey. So I will watch it soon.
And Junkie is emotionally draining. I cried a lot.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Um, that's the only thing that's coming to mind instantly for me.
Oh, 12th Fail. Please watch
For me,
12th Fail.
yes, I should
It's
watch
on
12 Fail
9,000.
at some point. But when I was going into my watch list to choose something recently, I just thought, like, what is this crazy list that I have? Like, there's Dharmendra movies and Vinod Khanna movies and like weird old Bengali movies that I can't find with subtitles and like all this stuff that someone tells me to watch a thing, I usually write it down. But I need to be better about writing down the context of the recommendation so that I
Right.
can choose a little more wisely. So there was a thing. Also, I need to keep this list up to date because I started to watch a film that my note next to it said Biswajit spy film. And I was like,
Hmm.
yes, that's what I want, like a 60s Biswajit spy film. And then I'm about 5 minutes in, I'm like, yeah, I've seen this movie already.
Oh, okay. You need
So
to
every
start
now and
adding
again,
checks to the
I
ones
need
you've
to
seen.
just delete them off the list. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it took me a few minutes, but I did realize like, oh, you ding dong, you've already seen this. So sometimes especially the pandemic brain, it's like it's in there somewhere, but
Yeah.
needs to get knocked loose every now and again to refresh myself.
So I was looking at upcoming movies that I'm excited about. And can we talk about Crew? I am so excited for Crew.
It's a very, very enticing poster for people like
I'm
us.
here for Tabu. I'm here for Bebo. Oh, they look so beautiful. Kriti Sanon looks really beautiful too. In those saris with like the namaste and the bindi. Oh, so gorgeous. I can't wait.
As people, regular listeners will know, I have a story involving Kriti Sanon and trying to get someone out of a
Mensab!
toilet whose door was stuck. And I feel like that is an experience that could happen on a plane. So
Right.
maybe she will get to do that. And I'll be like, remember when I was there
Right.
at the genesis of this important scene?
Exactly. But yeah, I'm excited for the Crew. I think it's coming out on the 29th of March, so we should definitely do
Mhm.
an episode on
Yeah.
that. Um I'm not I just have very like meh kind of feelings about Kriti Sanon. Do you like her particularly?
No, not
Okay.
particularly. I do not dislike her.
Same.
She is, she is I was gonna say she's there. She's a little
Yeah.
bit more than there, in some of the films I've seen her in, but she just doesn't really strike me one way or the other. And if someone said, "What is her unique selling point?" I honestly have
Yeah.
no idea. Because to me, Vani Kapoor is kind of a similar figure, but
Mm,
much more interesting and compelling to me. It's like they
mm.
sort of look similar to me, like are they both, I feel like they're both kind of tall. I don't know if that's
They're both very tall.
okay, so, like, if and, like, similar hair, which is, like, half of Instagram, I realize that,
Right.
but, yeah, like, so I wanna see more Vani Kapoor. I don't really care about Kriti, I wanna see more Vani Kapoor. She's much more, like, kind
Yeah.
of juicy and interesting to me somehow,
Yeah.
but I
She
don't have
was
any
really good in Chandigarh Kare Ashiki.
yeah, I don't have anything against Kriti. I just don't she does not interest me for whatever reason. But I feel similarly about several other people who are
Yeah.
slightly younger than like debuted slightly after her, but yeah, she's there, she's fine. Mm,
It's like I feel like I struggle with Kriti because I feel like she's a little too bland for me.
she's
Um
bland. Yep.
and she kind of blends in with so many people where sometimes I can't tell Kriti apart from Kiara,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
I don't know, there's a sameness to her. But it's so sad because like I want to root for her, I want to like her because she's not a nepo baby, and
True.
she's worked so hard to get where she has, and she's done so many performances,
Yeah.
and so like I want to like her, but I
Yeah.
can't bring myself. It's kind of like how I feel about Kartik Aryan. I want to root for him, but every
Oh,
time I see him in a movie I'm like, you're annoying. I saw him in Bhool
yeah.
Bhulaiya too, and I was like, mm.
Yeah,
But
no.
yeah. So I don't know. I don't know how she's gonna hold up against Tabu and Bebo, who are just light the screen on
Yeah,
fire.
I don't
So
see that going well for her, but maybe there'll be a like a subtlety to what she's doing and like a sort of, the third leg that is actually quite essential even though you don't notice
mhm.
it or something. Like that is a very valuable role to play and like to do that
Yeah,
well can be very key to a lot of films. So, um yeah, but like I wouldn't not watch it because she's in it or
right.
anything like
No,
that. And I thought, I'm not sure. I think she deserved the award that she got for Mimi, but I thought that
right,
was, that's a more interesting choice of a film to do. And,
right.
so yeah, nothing
Yeah.
against her, but nothing particularly for her either.
Yeah, I was looking at like upcoming movies, and like Crew is definitely what I'm excited. I'm excited for Street 2 that's coming
Yep.
out. And then Blue Play, there's a third that's coming out. I was like, excuse me, there's already two. Why do we need more? But
Yeah,
that's coming out. And then Dawn 3 is gonna come out at some point. But but it has Ranveer Singh in it and
right.
Kiara. So I don't know how I feel about that. Do we need a Dawn 3? I don't think we do, but that's on Farhan. I
Yeah,
mean, the ones we
yeah.
already have are fine. I don't know why they keep just remaking these films over and over, or like just keep making iterations of them when we would really just like to see something new instead.
Mhm.
So anything you're particularly excited for?
No, no, but also
Yeah.
as usual, I haven't been paying enough attention probably, but I just, looking at my watch list, I just thought like there's so many great looking older films that like
Yeah.
I don't mind that there's nothing coming out that I'm particularly excited about because I've got all this other stuff that I want to watch. So,
Yeah.
you know, I'll be fine with
Yeah.
my older movies.
Um, I weirdly want to actually rewatch Kashmir Ki Kali, which I've
Aw,
seen 1 million times, but
sure.
watching it diagonally across the aisle, watching, Shammi Kapoor having so much fun and Sharmila just being darling, I kind of was like, yeah, I think I'm going to do that again. It's just like, it's such a every Shammi Kapoor film is just such a comfort watch movie for me. Also, you can tell he's such a hit with like the senior citizens because when I headed out, like when I went to the restroom, I passed someone and it was like an older person and he was watching Prince.
Aw,
So it's like
yeah,
there were like multiple Shami Kapoor films being
that's
watched
great.
in my plane, but like yeah, I need some extra Shami Kapoor jauntiness in my life. So I might watch Kashmir Ki Kali
I mean,
tonight.
honestly, who does not need some of that in
Yes,
their lives?
yes, yes, we do need that. Okay, I think that's it for this catch up episode. You guys let us know what you've been catching up on. Are you
Yeah.
excited for Pushpa 2? I'm kind of a little excited for it now because I watched Pushpa, but I hope he's reformed and he's become like an environmentalist because I don't want to root for someone who's cutting down trees, y'all. Um,
Maybe he's gonna turn Johnny Appleseed kind of and go planting things where
that
formerly
would
he
be
cut them
lovely.
down.
I would like for him to do that very
Restore
much.
order. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's these scenes where he's like outwitting the cops and the cops are shown as these like bumbling fools, but I'm like, okay, but they're the ones who are protecting the forest. Like don't make them out to be bumbling fools. I want them to win. So it was just so
Yeah.
like
That's
ugh,
frustrating.
it was so frustrating. Okay, anyway, we'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe and thanks for watching Filmy Ladies. Bye.